Okay, so the news about the Epstein files, I mean, it's been shocking, right, to say the least. But what if there's more to it? What if these insane headlines aren't just about crime and corruption? What if they're actually a huge signpost pointing to a reality that ancient scriptures warned us about thousands of years ago? Let's dive in and unpack what that really means.
See, the thing is, when you start to look at these events through a spiritual lens, they stop feeling like just random, isolated incidents. Instead, they start looking like a direct reflection of the age we're living in, this age of darkness and moral decay that was, get this, predicted with just stunning accuracy. All right, so to really get our heads around this perspective, we have to be super clear about what we're actually facing. This stuff, it's not just some scandal with a few bad apples. It points to a really deep-seated sickness, something rooted in the very fabric of our society.
And this is where that spiritual connection really clicks into place. We're seeing these powerful, high-profile people caught up in just unimaginable acts against children. But the source material we're looking at here argues this isn't random at all. It's a symptom of a much bigger decline, one that was described in texts like the Srimad Bhagavatam. For believers, these are prophetic works that detailed exactly how dangerous and degraded the world was going to get.
Okay, so that brings us to a really crucial concept for understanding all of this. These events we're seeing, they're not some kind of fluke or anomaly. They are, from this point of view, the very definition of an era known in Vedic scriptures as Kaliyuga.
So what is Kaliyuga exactly? Well, you can think of it as the final age in a big cosmic cycle. It's often called the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. Basically, it's a time when all the good stuff, like virtue, just fades away and society gets completely dominated by vice. So from this viewpoint, what we're seeing in the headlines, that's just Kaliyuga running its natural and pretty destructive course.
And to really grasp the nature of this world, especially in an age like this, we can turn to the Bhagavad Gita. It uses this one phrase to describe our material existence: ashashwatam dukkhalayam. What does that mean? It means this place is temporary and it's fundamentally full of misery. That's a core idea here. This world just isn't designed for our lasting happiness. Now, get ready for this. According to the scriptures, this age of vice, this Kaliyuga, is set to last for 432,000 years. And we're only about 5,000 years in. So what this perspective suggests is, if you think things are bad now, this is really just the beginning. The degradation is actually predicted to get worse, to speed up.
So, okay, faced with this pretty bleak diagnosis of our times, the source material does something interesting. It pivots. It goes from this huge cosmic scale right down to the personal, and it asks a question that kind of forces all of us to look in the mirror. There's this one spiritual teacher who offered a really profound definition. A true gentleman, in a spiritual sense, it isn't about your money or your status. It's about having this powerful realization: this world, as it is right now, is not a fit place for me. It's recognizing that this place, with all its suffering and corruption, is not our true home. It's just not a good place for a soul that's looking for peace and purity.
And that, of course, leads to a pretty challenging question for ourselves. If after seeing all this darkness, all this craziness, this world still seems attractive and desirable to you, the source asks, have we really understood our situation? I mean, if we feel comfortable here, maybe, just maybe, we haven't reached that gentlemanly conclusion yet.
Wow. Okay, so this all sounds incredibly bleak, I know. But here's the twist. Here's where it all turns around. Because according to the very same scriptures that predict all this darkness, this age of Kaliyuga actually holds a hidden, extraordinary advantage. There is hope.
This specific verse you see here, from the Srimad Bhagavatam, is basically presented as the key to everything. It totally acknowledges how terrible this age is, but then it reveals its one single redeeming quality. And it's something incredibly, incredibly simple.
Okay, so here's the breakdown, and this is the crucial point. The verse says, yes, Kaliyuga is a whole ocean of faults, but it has one great quality. And what is it? Simply by chanting the holy names of God, in this tradition, the names of Krishna, you can become completely free from all the contamination of this age and actually achieve liberation. The path to escape is made super accessible to everyone. That's the big promise.
So, what does this all mean for us? In a practical sense. If we accept the diagnosis and we accept the cure, what's the immediate prescription? What do we do now?
Well, the source lays out a pretty clear plan. It's time to take our spiritual lives, our bhajan, more seriously.
It's about seeking the shelter of a genuine guru and the spiritual texts. It's about being grateful for the guidance we have that helps us make sense of all this chaos. And ultimately, it's about setting our sights firmly on the real goal, getting out of this miserable cycle for good.
And to really drive home the urgency of this, the Source gives us this really stark visualization. Let's say a person's usable life for spiritual practice is about 60 years. Well, by the time you hit 30, half of it, poof, it's already gone. There is just no time to waste. This isn't a dress rehearsal, this is the main event, right now.
So the real call to action here is to level up our sincerity. If our effort in our spiritual life has been kind of like a 5 out of 10, then seeing the horrors of this world should really motivate us to crank it up to at least a 7, if not higher. It's really time to stop just coasting along and start striving with some real intention.
And all of this brings us to the final, and I think most profound, question that the Source leaves us with. It's a thought to just sit with. After seeing the reality of this world for what it is, and knowing that there's a path out, how are we going to use the time we have left? When it's all said and done, what face will we show to God? What account of our lives will we be able to give?